Good morning, everyone. My name is Petra Poutanen. I'm the CEO of the Finnish Research Impact Foundation. We are here to present our two calls that have just opened. We have a new one called Seed Funding and Dear Professor, which is now the third round of its kind. Both of those calls have been opened in the morning, so you're able to access the instructions and guidelines on our website and also do the form on our electronic application system. We are here to present you with the basic information, eligibility, other criteria related to those calls. So you're all welcome, and I'm happy to see so many participants here today. My colleague, our Research Impact Officer Outi Vanharanta, will be presenting the basic information of these calls next. So please go ahead, Outi.
All right. Good morning also on my behalf, and welcome to this info session. So as Petro said, we will start with the Tandem Industry Academia professor funding, and I will explain the main idea and criteria related to this. So the main idea and objective of the funding is to allow professors to focus on advancing their research in collaboration with an industry partner, which should be a private company. And for the professor, this is, of course, a great opportunity to develop networks, get access to data and processes, and generate understanding of topical research problems in the industry. The Tandem Industry Academia model is subject to certain rules and requirements that are outlined here. First, the project should be pre-competitive projects, which means that they are explorative, early-stage research, and the results must be public and useful for the industry more broadly. And the project should be constructed on the basis of a genuine collaboration that benefits both parties and also that it has the potential for broader impact. And the funding is paid out to the academic organization with which the professor remains in an employment relationship throughout the project. And what is required already at the application stage is a committed industry partner who provides the professor the necessary workspace and research facilities and contributes other in-kind resources, for example, data or some materials needed in the project. And the funding covers the professor's salary costs for 12 months, spread over a maximum of 3 years. Who then is eligible to apply for this funding? So an applicant is eligible if they work in a professorial position in a Finnish university or state research institute. And this is dictated by the rules of our foundation. We are only allowed to fund these organizations. And the professor role includes all stages of the career path model, and also possibly other positions such as research director. And this is because people may work in senior positions in research institutions where they are effectively working at a level corresponding that of a professor, but they have a slightly different career path model there and different titles. But these issues will be assessed by the foundation on a case-by-case basis. So if you have doubts, please contact us to check your eligibility. But it's important to note, however, that this is an employment role, for example, so you need to be employed by the research organization. So docent-style affiliation does not confer eligibility. And as to the industry partner, the applicant should not have a significant connection with the industrial host, such as board membership or ownership of more than 5% of the company. Then a few words about the application process. So the first written applications are submitted via the application system by October. I will just check it, 13th, following the guidelines described on our website. And then the industry partners, they have another 7 days to submit their form after the application deadline. And then the applications are reviewed by the foundation board, which will consult outside reviewers if necessary. And what is taken into considerations in the review process is the academic quality of the research and the potential impact of the project on business and industry more broadly. And the second stage involves interviews with applicants who are shortlisted based on the first stage applications. And then guidance on how to prepare for the interviews will be sent separately to those who are invited to the second stage. And the interviews will take place face-to-face in Helsinki, and they will be held on November 11th and 21st. And then the second stage applicants will be informed of the final decisions in early December. And then some very practical points. So on our website, you can find a link to the call where you can find the description of the funding, and there you will again find a link to the instructions for how to prepare your application. So please read them carefully. And then at the end of the guidelines, you can find a link to our online application system, which then contains the application form itself. So this is very similar to any other founders systems. And here is still a screenshot from the login page of the application system. There are a couple of things to note. Here you can create an account for the system, after which you can naturally log in and access the application form. And surrounded here with the red circle are two things to note. The blue button takes you to the pre-application questionnaire with which you can test your eligibility to apply for funding. If you are uncertain after testing this, you can, of course, contact us and check whether you are eligible to apply. And then the green button allows you to download the full application form in PDF format if you want to familiarize yourself with the content of the form before you start filling in it in the system. And yes, so you cannot access the business partner or the company partner form from here, but in our instructions, you can find all the questions that then will be sent automatically from the system to the company partner. So you can familiarize yourself with those two in advance. All right, this was everything on the professor funding. Petro, do you have anything you would like to add at this point, or should we move on to the new funding model, Tandem Industry Academia Seed?
Thank you, Outi. Just please move on, and we will have a discussion afterwards and address the questions.
Excellent. All right, then we move on to our new Tandem Industry Academia Seed funding model. So this is a completely new funding instrument that we are introducing today, opening for the first time today. And this funding is intended for researchers who have recently arrived in Finland and are employed in a Finnish university or state research institute. And the objective of this funding is to encourage the formation of networks and initiate collaborations with Finnish companies. And the idea behind this is also to fund projects that focus on developing areas of expertise that are important for strengthening Finland's expertise in the future. So some areas where we don't have the strongest expertise yet, but something that is very relevant in future. And as to the eligibility, this funding is specifically designed for researchers meeting certain criteria. First, applicants must have lived continuously outside of Finland for at least 5 years. And at the time of application, they should have been employed at a Finnish university or state research institute for no more than 3 years, just before the application. And they need to be currently employed by a Finnish university or state research institute as a full professor or be on the professor career path. And finally, applicants should not have received significant research funding, such as funding from the Finnish Academy or the European Research Council. And these criteria ensure that the funding targets researchers who are relatively new to Finland's academic scene and don't have previous large funding yet. A few words about the industry collaboration that is required also in this funding. So the collaboration should include at least 2 Finnish companies, companies that are based in Finland. They can be international global firms, but they need to have relevant operations in Finland and at least 1 full-time employee. The collaboration can take many forms, including joint research, thesis projects, joint courses, workshops, or any other activities that effectively contribute to developing new industry relevant knowledge and skills. And in the application, a separate collaboration plan is required, which should include a description of the forms of collaboration with each company, the role of each company in achieving the project's objectives, and how the companies benefit from the collaboration. And about the use of funding, so the funding available for each project is approximately 200,000 euros, which must be used within a 3-year period. And this funding can cover a variety of expenses, including salary costs and overheads, travel and materials. And it also includes costs related to, for example, publications and any costs related to the collaboration. However, please note that a maximum of 20% of the total budget can be used for the applicant's own salary costs. But salary costs can be allocated to support researchers, such as doctoral students or postdoctoral researchers who are working in these projects alongside the applicant. And also a few words about this application process. It is very similar to the Tandem Industry Academia professor application. So first, the written applications are submitted via the application system by October 13th, following the guidelines described on our website. Please read them carefully. And then the applications are reviewed by the foundation board, who will consult outside reviewers as necessary. And then the second stage involves interviews with applicants who are shortlisted based on the first stage application. So the way this differs from the professional application, that here we do not require separate applications from the company partners at this point. And then also similarly as in the professor process, guidance on how to prepare for the interviews will be sent to those who are invited to the second stage in October. Interviews will take place face-to-face in Helsinki, and they will be held on November 14th and 21st. And also these decisions will be then informed in early December. Now there is somebody. All right. This is all on the basic information of these different funding instruments. And now we can move on to the Q&A stage.